Hey everyone, you know, just trying to make sure something. Hold on for a second. You know what's, this past Monday on Raw, in fact, even before Raw, it was rumored and then officially announced that at WrestleMania we were going to have another Memorial Battle Royal. But this time it was for the women. And instead, and the woman that they decided to dedicate this to was none other than the fabulous Moolah. Sorry about that. I was just getting my dog to get onto some other pillows here that she feels a little bit more comfortable on. But after a while, you know how animals are. They lay in one place and they choose where they want to lay next. Anyway, the WWE had made the announcement. Now it had been rumored that that was going to happen, but I don't think WWE expected the backlash that they were going to get. Now, some might say, why would the WWE get any backlash for dedicating a battle royal, a memorial battle royal, to the fabulous Moolah? Well, for those that don't know, if you look online, fabulous Moolah, during her time in this business, and which was a long time, from competing in the ring to training wrestlers, men and women, or women and men, I should say. Apparently, she had grown a reputation, not a good one. And that reputation is she would basically hold female stars that had the potential to be big in this business back, as well as she would hoard them out for favors to others. And apparently, her husband was in on this. Now, there is a Reddit article that's been posted that, like the Lexman, I will link to my description. In my description, you guys can check it out. But hold on for a sec. But yeah, the fabulous Moolah had created a reputation for herself that wasn't good. In fact, some may argue that if there's any other stars out there that the WWE should blackball, the WWE should erase from its history, should never acknowledge again, should remove from the Hall of Fame, fabulous Moolah is one of them. Now, like I said, many people may not be in the know about that. I had heard, fabulous Moolah had a reputation at times, but I didn't think it was as bad as what was being brought up. And what really got a lot of people upset was the fact that WWE had decided to, of all women that have passed on from this life, to dedicate a memorial battle royal after. They decided to go with the fabulous Moolah, someone that had basically, behind the scenes, and if not publicly, held other women back, sabotaged them, basically made their careers a living you-know-what. And then on top of that, she would get a majority of the take they would make, a majority of the finances they would make, or whatever. She would, like I said, hoard them out. So basically, her reputation behind the scenes in the business was not very favorable, and it would be, and no one but would probably know. And here's the thing: not a lot of women, past or present, mostly past, until recently, I'm not really sure when this all started to come out, but I would say in the past decade or so, or wherever, that the fabulous Moolah, that basically the fabulous Moolah wasn't everything that people thought she could be. She wasn't, this person that when she would make appearances, you would cheer for her, you would enjoy. But she was more along the line somebody that, like I said, was behind the scenes very ruthless. Some would say not very evil, but evil, demeaning, backstabbing. Again, here's a lady that would sabotage behind the scenes and publicly other females' careers. And here's a woman that, like I said, and Delexman has said, and OTRS Central has said, and many people have said that have thrown backlash at this. Here's a woman that basically, has hoarded out other women for sexual favors to men. Her and her husband have been known to do that. It's like it's like the women, and I'm not even sure about the men, but mostly the women that she would train. If they didn't give her a major cut of what they earned, or if they didn't do these sexual favors, she would sabotage their careers. She would make their careers a living what. And to me, when I think about that is not the way you do business. That is not the way you have respect for a business that gave you the legacy in the Hall of Fame career that you had. That's not how you pay back the business. You don't sabotage your trainees or subjugate them to something that you shouldn't have to do. They shouldn't be subjugated to. But yet, that's what Moolah did. Now, did Mae Young have some things to do about this as well? Did Mae Young take part in some of this? She may have had knowledge, but from what people said, she may have known about it, and maybe on a few occasions may have partook perhaps. I'm not saying she did or not, but she did have knowledge, but to a point that even if she took part in it, it wasn't as bad as what Moolah did. In fact, I think Mae Young, maybe I'm wrong about this, walked away from that when she saw what was going on. It's like maybe she maintained her friendship with Moolah, but she didn't want nothing to do with what Moolah and her husband were doing. I'm just saying. With that said, though, a lot of people were not happy about this. The Lexman talked about it, OTRS talked about it, Chase Oliver has talked about it, I'm sure Pro Wrestling Report has talked about it. Everybody that when this got out, this Memorial Battle Royal was going to be named after her, the backlash was just tremendous. I mean, there were people defending the fact that, hey, it's a fabulous Moolah. She did a lot for the business. She did a lot for the company. She's earned this. Or she deserves this. A lot of people did defend the fact that Moolah did deserve that, to have that battle royal named after her. And there are some that probably still continue to argue that. But here's the thing. When one of your major sponsors, especially the sponsor of your flagship event, your Super Bowl event, hears about what this woman has done, and maybe even researched and found out themselves, and pretty much states that they're disappointed in that decision that you have made, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign when your major sponsor says, we are very disappointed in WWE for making this decision, for wanting to associate this event or one of the matches taking place as a part of this event with someone like Moolah. So, ironically, what happened is it wasn't just the fans and some of the people within the business that cover the business and have competed in this business. It wasn't just the fans. It wasn't just the legends that trained and competed that trained under Moolah, that competed with Moolah. You know, it wasn't just them, and it wasn't just the people that cover the business, like Pro Wrestling Report or No DQ. It wasn't just all of that combined, but it was also, on top of that, the number one sponsor of WrestleMania, Snickers, the M&M company, which is the M&M company, which is the parent company of Snickers. They're the ones that came out and said, look, we are disappointed in you, WWE, for wanting to name a battle royal after this woman, especially after what we have heard about what she's done in this business, and from what they probably even researched and found out themselves. So what did WWE do in response? Because they didn't want to lose that sponsorship, they didn't want to lose the revenue that comes with that sponsorship. They decided, whoa, hold the brakes, time out. Let's rename it just the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Yeah, that'll be great. See, we just saved our butts. And they probably told Snickers. Snickers, of course, like I say, being the major sponsor for the event, got on them. They said, whoa, and probably was even thinking of pulling out because of this decision. And they were thinking, whoa, hold the brakes, Snickers. We changed our minds. It's actually the Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. Yeah, that's it. It's called the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. You know, I don't know who came. And I'm pretty sure someone was on the phone going like, yeah, we don't know who came up with the fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal name. Whoever that was, we're going to suspend them without pay for about a week. Yeah, that's great. Now, I'm not saying that's probably what they did, but I would assume something that similar action was, hey, we don't want to lose the sponsorship. Let's rename it. Let's rewind and rename. Like, in other words, they were still planning to do it, but they rewound themselves, took a step back and realized, oh crap, we don't want to lose this. Let's go in this direction. And again, like I said, WWE, not wanting to lose that sponsorship, decided, let's take a step back, let's change it to the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, and be done with it. Now that's not to say they still probably won't go back and do a name change again, and this time call it once again call it a Memorial Battle Royal, but have it named after another woman. I'm not saying they won't do that, because WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, it's alright. I mean, essentially the same thing, but the original idea was to name it after a woman pioneer in this business, or after a pioneer female competitor in this business, and they just went with the wrong and basically they just made a mistake. They just made a huge mistake, and they decided to save their butts, to save that sponsorship, to keep that sponsorship. They decided to rename it the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, but I'm not going to put it past WWE. They still got time between now and Mania to rename it rename it a Memorial Battle Royal, or call it once again a Memorial Battle Royal, but this time dedicated to someone else. I'm not going to put it past WWE to say, hey, we still want to do a Memorial Battle Royal because WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal doesn't sound so good. I mean, it sounds alright, but it doesn't sound like, it's just good. It mainly sounds like a pre-show event, which, knowing WWE, it might be. Not saying it would be. But, again, they got till this week and up to Mania to rechristen it once again a Memorial Battle Royal, but to rechristen it maybe the Miss Elizabeth Memorial Battle Royal or the Sensational Sherry Memorial Battle Royal. Just saying. I'm just saying, because any one of those two sound more acceptable than just WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not going to put it past them to still want to do a Memorial Battle Royal. Right now, WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal is basically a safeguard name for them until they probably decide who else they should dedicate it to. And right now, the only other woman they could dedicate it to is either China, but because of China's past, after she left WWE is very questionable, and that might hold her back. There's Mae Young. You just go with Mae Young again, which wouldn't be too bad. And then, like I said, you got Sherry and Elizabeth. So any one of them could be a potential front runner to have this Memorial Battle Royal named after them if they decide to rechristen it a Memorial Battle Royal. Now, some of you even say, well, what about the women that train Moolah, like Judy Burke or whatever her name is? The pioneer women that, came before Moolah and even trained her and competed against her. Hey, I'm not saying those women couldn't be good choices either. They could be. But I think from a more updated, I'm guessing for a more updated, more recent, recognizable name, I'm going to say that I think they're either going to go with Mae Young, Sensational Sherry, or Elizabeth. One of those three is going to have the Memorial Battle Royal named after them. Right now, like I said, WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal is just a safeguard name for WWE. And, we're all wondering, why would WWE even name a Battle Royal after Moolah? It's real simple. WWE is about reaction nowadays, right? They're more about reaction and attention spans. They probably think, oh, the audience, they have such a short attention span, they're not going to know, and they're not going to react to us naming this after Moolah. That's probably what they went by. They probably thought, well, the audience has a short attention span. They probably won't even care if we call it the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal because we talk about Moolah in such a positive light that no one's going to care, no one's going to react. Well, they were wrong about that because people do have short attention spans at times, especially in this day and age. But their memories, but their attention spans are not that bad. And their memories, and from what they hear from people and research online, in today's day and age, they could pretty much be in agreement that, what Moolah did in the past isn't worthy of her being immortalized here, in this fashion. So our attention spans at times may be shorter than before, or maybe shorter than usual, but thanks to thanks to an age of internet and accessible internet, we are able to find out things that people want to keep hidden. And I'm also thinking because of the fact that her and May contributed so much to the attitude and at times ruthless aggression errors, that's why they wanted to do this. They figured, well, May has always been associated with Moolah, so there you go. So that's what I'm only assuming. And also because Moolah was an integral part for a while of the rock and wrestling connection. So I'm guessing that's why they did it as well. But honestly, I think, when you think about it, it's probably wasn't the best move on WWE's part. Probably wasn't, because it's like you don't want to have all this negative press, on you for something that you should have realized was going to get you negative press. So, right now, WWE, I think obviously made the smart decision, even if they were pressured into doing it by Snickers, the sponsor for WrestleMania. I think they made the right decision. The only thing is, honestly, the only thing that I look at honestly is they're not going to keep it. They're not going to keep the name WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal for that long. I think they're going to go back to the drawing board and they're going to say, you know what, we need to keep. We want it. Because come on, let's be honest. They want to keep the idea of it being a memorial battle royal dedicated to somebody. So my thought is they're going to go back to the drawing board and they're going to find a name that people will actually be okay with, and they know they won't get backlash from, and go from there. And like I say, the three names that come to my mind are Elizabeth, Sensational Sherry, and Mae Young. Those are the ones that come to mind. Again, if they just keep it as the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, then this will pretty much have an asterisk next to it, because this asterisk will pretty much say, yeah, you goofed this year. Like, yes, the idea is good. It's good on paper. It being a memorial battle royal to be dedicated to someone is great. But you pretty much goofed on who you wanted to dedicate it to first. So, and again, I think Vince, Kevin Dunn, some of them are probably thinking, oh, well, people have short attention spans. They probably won't care. Yeah, that pretty much was proven wrong, right? And especially when one of your major sponsors, if not your main sponsor of your big show, hears about what's going on. Yeah. You might want to, how do I put it? You might want to reconsider what you plan to do next. And you know what's funny? I think maybe this had to happen because I think now WWE is realizing, oh crap, this is what we get for allowing ourselves to be sponsored by these people outside our company. Like, oh crap, maybe we should go back to being a company that doesn't need sponsorship. I'm just saying, maybe this is going to wake them up. Maybe they'll realize, hey, we did better without that many sponsors. And, and try to probably work something. I don't know. I think this is going to be a wake-up call for WWE to be like, you know what? We were better off without so many sponsors. We can be better off again. So, who knows? But, like I said, the reaction they got from this wasn't probably what they were hoping for. And, in the end, the hand was forced to change it. But like I said, I don't think they're going to keep it. I don't think they're going to keep the name WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal for that much longer. I think, like I said, it's just a safeguard, and they're basically going to, dedicate it to somebody else. And like I said, the three names that come to mind are Elizabeth, Sherry, and Mae. So, but yeah, WWE. What's the old saying? WWE and those in charge, like Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn. What's that old saying? With all due respect, what's that old saying? Oh yeah, get with the times. Okay? Get with the times. So, that's all I'm going to say, folks. Let me know what you think down below. Talk to y'all later.